Oh, the males! Here's the male that never fails and makes me want to wag my tail, and when it comes, I want to wail! Male from Filament Stories! We got some Bondtech CHT nozzles. Let's get into them. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you'd like potentially poorly scripted Blues Clues lyrics as you're cold open for a video, make sure to leave a like and get subscribed because I'm in a mood today. We got some awesome mail today from my friend Courtney over at Filament Stories. If you don't know Filament Stories and you love filament, the hell's wrong with you? She is amazing, a phenomenal content creator that makes short form content, but also sometimes long form content, and former podcast guest. Card to that episode so you guys can take a look. But when she saw our video on the diamond nozzle, she says, Grant, you gotta try the CHT nozzles. And she mailed some to me, which is pretty darn cool. We've got a bit of a smorgasbord of nozzles. So we've got an unmodified, unmolested PRUSA Mini Plus here, and then we've got the bad boy, the one with the MM10 upgrade, the Revo Micro. We did a whole video on upgrading this. We'll card to it so you guys can take a look. And we're gonna do nozzle swaps on both of them. So we gotta take the 0.4 millimeter off of this printer. We're gonna put on a 0.6 because we are gonna toss a 0.6 nozzle onto the Revo Micro as well. It might be a bit of a hard nozzle, but I know you guys like it a little hard. So we're gonna first start by giving ourselves the best friggin' chance that we have, and we're going to heat up this mini. Because for those that don't know, you can't change nozzles in V6 style. This is not a V6 to V6 style. You cannot change nozzles on a V6 style hot end cold. It will not work. So we gotta get it hot, and that's what we're gonna go ahead and do right here. But the Revo, well, I guess while we're waiting for this one to heat up, I can just go ahead and do this for you. It's not gonna take but 10-20 seconds. Put that number on the screen so people can see. And I'm talking the whole time, so I'm not really paying as much of attention as I could. And before the PRUSA Mini could get to, boy, not even 115 degrees, I've already swapped it on the Revo. That's one of my biggest amazing features about the Revo is how freaking easy it is to change nozzles over. So we went from a 0.4 brass nozzle to the 0.6 obsidian, and this one is still heating up. Now, some things to note, and I'm a little miffed about this, Bondtech. The Bondtech pattern is a 1/4 inch driver, whereas the V6 style nozzles are 9/30 seconds in SAE. And oh yeah, this is done. This thing is still heating up, and now I have to take it off. So always make sure you're going the right direction. This, for me, not the right direction. Because when you're underneath everything, it's not gonna feel right. So make sure you're going in the right direction now before it gets too crazy. So I'm going to be as careful as I can be with some old nasty PLA in there. I don't know if it's nasty, but it's old. There we go. Once we get the nozzle cracked free, we can go ahead and pull off our pliers from the hot end. We don't need it anymore because the nozzle should just slowly unscrew for us. Done. I've got a little metal tray over here so I don't melt things. We're gonna go ahead and grab the 0.6 Bondtech. Now, Filament Stories sent over 3 nozzles. She sent a 0.4, a 0.6, and my dime bag here with the 1.8. And yes, we're going to show you guys that here in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and grab that 0.6. Printer is getting nice and hot. We do need to switch our sockets over. That socket is still very warm, so be careful. Make sure to change the direction that you're screwing things in with, and make sure that your hand pattern is something that is not going to break things, because it's very easy to break things when you do this. The socket I'm using is a little bit deep, and that can mean that it might not actually catch the threads. So let's just see. All right, now we're getting to the point where it starts to get very difficult. What we need to do is we need to grab and hold that hot end. And then we're gonna go and we're gonna torque it. Now, this is not a torque wrench. I'm just kind of using, I don't know, better judgment. I've done this enough times that hopefully I don't screw it up on camera. Now we're done. So we've now switched nozzles on both printers, except this one was done like 3 minutes ago and this one just finished. In both of these, we now have a Benchy, and the Benchy is a little bit different. We have the Bondtech CHT to the spec that it says on Bondtech's website. We'll put it on the screen so you guys can see it. And we have relatively stock PRUSA settings. Now, I did speed both of them up, but this one is sped up more because technically it can handle it. This nozzle is larger than the diameter of the filament that goes into it. And that's possible because of, one, dye swell, right? When plastics get hot, they tend to swell a little bit. But two, because it's breaking it up into 3 channels and then it comes back together at the tip of the nozzle. But that's gonna give us some thick layers. We're gonna go 0.9 on those in just a little bit. So stay tuned to the end of the video for that one. But now it's time to get some filament loaded. So let's get these bad girls preheated. I've got some just random spools of filament here that are just kind of ends, if you will. So we're gonna run those just so I can get rid of some random spools. So we'll start off with some Make Shaper Blue here on the Revo, and on the non-Revo, we'll go with whatever no-name fluorescent weird pink this is. We might run out on the Revo, but I think that's okay. I already know what the print times are, so if it does take a little bit different than what we're expecting, that is okay. Now, we should see it come out of here pretty quick. This is old filament, so I don't know what it's gonna look like, and we will likely need to redo the first layer on this because, well, it's a different nozzle. We've got color coming out of here, which is good. Waiting for the Revo. And there we go. We're gonna go ahead and get the print started. And we're gonna look at the differences between them. Now, according to the screens, this should be over 10 minutes faster. And when time is money, the CHT does kind of win here. Now, is it going to look better? We're gonna find out. Once these are done, we're gonna try different styles here. So this is basically as fast as a Revo should be able to run. I'm not gonna push it any further than the manufacturer specifications. Same deal here. This should be actually a little bit slower than this thing should run. And I've kept their line widths the same. That's the big key factor that I want you guys to take away. We're going to do a print with a 1.8 millimeter diameter nozzle. You might say, Grant, the filament is smaller than that. And yes, you would be correct. The CHT is different from a standard nozzle. It is much faster, and it's not because it's made out of diamond or something like that. In fact, they're $20 nozzles, and they are not abrasion resistant, so do not use them to print abrasive materials. But what they do is they split the filament into 3 sections, basically a knife that splits it into 3 sections, and then can heat it more uniformly before it brings it back together to push it out of the nozzle itself. And that means you get faster flow. In fact, Stefan from CNC Kitchen did an amazing video series all about the CHT. Go check it out. Links will be in the description, where he even cuts one open to show you how they're made. And effectively, it is 3 drill bits that come in to basically make the pattern that you see inside of a CHT. I'll have some pictures on screen so you guys can see it. But suffice to say, it is way faster than a standard nozzle. Now, to be clear, this one failed already. The part came off the bed. That's my fault. That's not the Obsidian or the Revo's fault. But this is a basically bone stock PRUSA Mini, except it now has a CHT. And this is not a bone stock PRUSA Mini because it has the MM10 upgrade as well as a E3D Revo Micro carrying a very hard nozzle, the Obsidian. They are both running 0.4 millimeter layers, 0.6 millimeter diameter nozzles, and they are running as physically fast as they will be able to run, given their flow rate, which is about 12 to 15 millimeters per second cubed with the Revo, and 40, according to the manufacturer, with the CHT. Now, of course, this one is quite a bit lower. That's again because we had a fail. This should be done 11 minutes faster, a 25-minute Benchy versus a 36-minute Benchy. And when you look at those numbers, that is 30% faster. It's a little bit under 30%, but call it 30% faster. And that is astronomically crazy. You're getting so much more speed, and so far, print quality is dead on. And I want to be very clear, I did nothing else other than crank the speeds up, make sure that I adjusted the flow rate. I did not touch the retraction. I did not touch the temperatures, nothing. And it just freaking works. So kudos to Bondtech, but be aware, I did have to adjust my Z offset. It was not the same. So just be aware of that. Now, what I really want to do was show what it can do under normal circumstances. Courtney was awesome. She actually sent us over a 0.4, the 0.6 that's on the machine, and the 1.8. And she said the 0.4 is amazing because you can print about 20% faster with zero degradation in print quality. Because again, the way the system works. So we might end up putting this on our time-lapse printer, which pretty much is always streaming to MakerDeck when we're doing time lapses. So make sure you guys check MakerDeck out. Links will be in the description. But yeah, as soon as this print's done, we're gonna toss on the 1.8 because that's what everybody came here to see. Both are doing really clean prints. Some things to note. The CHT is not doing overhangs all that well from what I can see. But again, haven't really adjusted anything. It might benefit from a bit of a slower overhang speed. And that would make sense just because it is pushing plastic faster. You want to make sure that you can cool it faster. See, the thing here is not just about the speed of the printer. It's how hot the filament is getting. This is something that we found out with the Diamondback nozzles, that I can now print PLA at like 175C. PLA normally likes to be at like 205, maybe 200. But 175 is so low, some printers won't even extrude at those temperatures. And that's because your thermal conductivity is higher. With something like the CHT, your thermal conductivity is higher. So you might actually be able to run considerably colder temperatures with the same speeds that you're used to. But I'm seeing some stringing, which could be the fact this filament's old, but more likely the fact that it's just a little too hot. I'm not gonna mess with the temps during the print. That will kind of ruin it a little bit, but something to note. I think it's interesting. These layers look perfect, dude. Like, they're beautiful. Now, the one unfair thing that we do have is that the Revo is running a opaque filament while the Bondtech is running a translucent, but for the big print, we are going to change that. This was more to show speed. Now I'm just gonna screw around because I can. And there you go, just under 28 minutes for this Benchy. Yes, this printer is running the old firmware because this is what happens with the old firmware. The printer actually, for some reason, goes back home. And that's why you need to remember to reflash your minis because you will ruin prints this way. Ask me how I know. Honestly, I have seen much worse. I've seen much worse Benchies. Like, take a look at this thing. Some stringing, but overall, not bad. Not bad overall. All right, stop screwing around. Let's put the big boy on. Okay, literally, brand new spool of filament. This is some E-Sun Gray PLA. Nice. I don't have a ton of experience printing this, but it's E-Sun, so, you know, really shouldn't be any problems. Can we get a Bondtech E3D collab, please? That'd be pretty dope. CHT Revo, when... Mike, I know you watch these videos. Make this happen. I want a CHT Revo. Be a dream of mine to go to a high flow nozzle like a CHT, but on the Revo platform. Dude, that'd be so freaking awesome. Okay. Again, once you have it cracked, you should be able to do it by hand without any extra tools. If you do see your heat block moving, you want to make sure to hold it, but generally speaking, it shouldn't. If you guys do want to see a video on how to change nozzles and all that, let me know. We'll do another back to basics on that. Again, don't put your hot nozzles on things that they will burn. Put them in a piece of metal and let them cool down. Now we have the big 1.8, the big chungus. I was very close to burning myself, so let's just put the stupid nozzle in and shut the hell up. Now this is gonna be really hot, like way hotter than it should be, so we might run into some problems. Dude, that is insane. It's huge. It's bigger than the filament. Look. That is insane. That's absolutely nutter butters, dude. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's do a freaking Benchy. I know that's why you all are here. I know that's what you want to see. So let's do a 1.8 millimeter Benchy. Holy crap. Wow. All right. What do you think? Is it going to succeed? Is it going to fail? Leave a comment. And one thing I am a little worried about is because this is the 1.8, its first layer is going to be totally different. So I am a little worried about where that's going to stand. So I'm going to basically be ready to quickly adjust that first layer. Yeah, it's just not sticking. I'm not really surprised, and I don't think you guys should be either. Okay, first thing, it is way too cold. So let's see. I'm gonna let it go. It'll probably figure itself out, to be honest. I'm not too worried about that first layer. I really want to see the second layer and third layer and all that. And this will also help me figure out what temps I actually have to print this at, because I'm assuming the answer is very hot. We're going up to 250 on the temps already. It is also crazy how fast the extruder is moving back here. By the way, this Benchy is gonna take like 130 grams or something crazy. Again, I'm gonna let this go. The first couple layers aren't gonna look great, but we'll see how the rest of them look. We're hoping to have a Benchy by the end of it, so we'll see what it ends up looking like. Now see, the problem when you run thick layers and big nozzles like this is PLA actually shrinks quite a bit. So if you are gonna run the big nozzles, just make sure you're ready for it. I'm not. This is literally just to have fun. But like, come on. It's supposed to be a 10-minute Benchy, which is just nuts. Yeah, see, when you have curling with PLA, you know you're way too hot, or you're cooling too fast. So I'm gonna attempt to help it here. I know that's cheating, but it's still kind of crazy though. Now there are some practical purposes to printing with a nozzle this big. I don't have any, but I'm sure there are some. I guess if you really needed to lay down filament, but be mindful that if you use an extruder that is gear reduced, you might run out of stepper motor a lot faster than you run out of anything else. Now, I'd also like to point out how fast this spool is turning versus how fast this spool is turning. It is a lot of filament that is being pushed right now. And to give us a reasonable comparison, we will be doing the bearded skull next. We've already done one on this printer. You guys saw it in the previous video. This was done in the carbon fiber PETG. And I'm gonna do one at 1.8 because I hate myself. It's crazy to me how 0.9 millimeter layers is considered high quality for a nozzle like this. Now, of course, don't expect this Benchy to win absolutely any beauty contest, because it simply won't. But it's gonna go fast. And at some point, you just gotta go fast. I've never seen PLA almost foam like that. And I don't know if it's a property of this specific PLA. I've actually never printed with it before, or what it might be, but yeah, it's kind of foaming. Might be the fact that we're heating it to 250 C. Let me try lowering the temp a little bit and see what happens. Now, the reason we're doing that is to make sure that we get enough heat into the filament. Remember, that's a lot of material that's being pushed right now. Remember, this is like so much faster. So we have our two Benchies done. Looking at them from my perspective, hilariously, the CHT did better. CHT's got better cooling, but that might have something to do with the obsidian, with the cooling, and the Revo Micro. In terms of detail, the Revo Micro blows it out of the water. We have much better bridging and overhangs, as well as underneath of the roof here. Much nicer on the 0.6. I'll take some B-roll so you guys can see it. They're both good prints, but definitely need better cooling with the Revo Micro. So yeah, guys, that's the Bondtech CHT. It is way faster. You can print at nearly 30% faster with the 0.6 millimeter alone. Some cooling issues that you might have to deal with, but you know, honestly, for the money, it's a $20 nozzle. Obviously, no abrasives yet, but I think there's a lot of value there, especially if you're doing farm printing and you're doing the same thing over and over again. Maybe it's some thick walled parts that you just need to get out fast. Something like the 0.6, 0.8, or even the 1.0 millimeter with regular PLA, PETG, whatever, will run like a Swiss watch. I'm impressed with it. Honestly, I'm impressed with the quality of the 1.8. I know the first few layers really sucked. I just wasn't about to sit here and try to figure that one out. But we will go ahead and do a print. I'll show you guys on the screen so you can see it. But I'm excited about this, and I want to give a special thank you to Filament Stories for making this video possible. Thanks for sending those over, Courtney. You are awesome, and all of our subscribers should go be one of yours as well. That's all I got for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts all about the Bondtech CHT. Do you want to get one? Do you want to try it? What are your thoughts? I want to see them in abrasive. That's what I want. I want Bondtech CHT abrasives. That's all I got for you guys today. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome with big damn nozzles. Have a good one. Ow. We're good. We're good. Stuck my hand where I shouldn't have. It's my fault. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video, and a massive thank you goes out to all of our Patreon and YouTube channel member supporters whose names are listed right next to me at the $5 tier and higher. Remember, if you want to join those elite group of Musketeers, click the links down in the description to join our Patreon or YouTube channel members. Right below me will be our entire series on the diamond nozzles if you guys want to check that out, so you can see what I've been referencing during this entire video. And right next to that will be my episode of the podcast with Courtney, Filament Stories. Go check that out. I'll see you guys down in those comments and in the next one. Take care.